How are we, guys? We are back again with Monday Night Football. Massive apologies, totally my fault. We decided to cut out again at 1 minute to 8. Perfect timing, but we are joined by Lucy and Charlie from the Chatting Football Show. How are you guys?
Not bad, still buzzing from the result.
Yeah, same here.
I mean, it's just, I still haven't got over it. I've still not got over it, to be fair. I mean, it's just absolutely.
He had one job, guys. He had one job, right? To put out a tweet that he got wrong, to be on time that he got wrong.
I was on time, to be fair, but we decided to just do
And I was smoking, as everyone knows. If we're late, it's always because Joe's having a crafty fag. Let's be honest, that's what it is all about. But at least you know.
But before we get into it, guys, let's remind ourselves of our fantastic sponsors on this video. The fantastic football prizes. Got some fantastic stuff on offer this week. First of all, the Yorkshire Pirlo himself, Calvin Phillips, signed and framed Leeds United shirt. The beautiful, just that beautiful piece, the green and black. $4.95 a ticket, 99 tickets available. 16th of April, this one closes at 7:30. Check them out, football prizes. And of course, for the general football fan, non-Leeds related stuff, Steven Gerrard signed and framed Champions League winner montage. $4.95 a ticket, 66 tickets available. Competition ends in 2 days' time. Fantastic pieces there, and many more fantastic pieces from
maybe even future
out,
Leeds manager Steven Gerrard. You just never know, do you?
Yeah,
you just never know. You just never know. I've changed their logos in the top as well. I always get this wrong. Hang on. No. It's over.
There. Hang on, no, I get it as well.
No.
There, that's it.
We always get that wrong. Honestly, we always get that wrong, don't we, mate? But I just want to shout out Justin Cross as well. Justin Cross watches this all the time, and I know that he has a go on football prizes every single week. Every single week. So, Justin, fingers crossed for you, mate, because you message me a lot and you're a good guy, and I know you've been getting them. I mean, I had one go and won myself one straight away, and it wasn't a fix. I promise it wasn't a fix. Marcelo Bielsa signed medal there, look. But Justin goes all the time. So fingers crossed for you, Justin, brother. There you go. Sorry, I'll stop interrupting now.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. It's always good to talk about football prizes. But Charlie, I mean, we've just beaten like the future quadruple winners 2-1 away from home with 10 men. I mean, talk to me, man. How did we do it? How did we get that deserved win with 2 shots on target?
If I'm honest, it's a bit of a blur. If I'm honest, I was like that, like feeling from like. I think it was just interesting to see Leeds play differently in terms of rather. Obviously, I know that because of the red card, we had to go all out defensive in the second half. But I felt like when Strike and Koch came on, they just made the back four even better for me. Obviously, it turned into a back 6 or a back 10 or something, didn't it, at one point? But I was more proud of them just for putting that effort in. And I feel like the win was, when you say it was deserved, I mean, the stats may say otherwise, but I felt like it was a good end to a really good display from the lads.
Absolutely. And Lucy, I mean, myself, Joe and Chris, we had special praise, and Phil actually, we had special praise for Gianni Alioski. I mean, Joe even went as far as saying it was his best game in a Leeds shirt. And I know how much you love Gianni.
Yeah.
Was that his best game for you?
I think it was, and as much as I love Alioski, he does struggle, doesn't he? Especially against the top teams.
Yeah.
Like, he'll proper get a performance against West Brom or Burnley or something. But I was just really chuffed for him. I think, obviously, the pass for the Dallas goal was sublime. But defensively, he was just really strong. I would say it was his best game, to be fair. And I think a lot of people are a bit reluctant to say that, obviously, with everything that's like gone on in the rumour mill. But I think credit where credit's due. And I think a lot of the fans on Twitter, especially, did give him praise. And I think they all did well defensively. They all had to do well defensively, but yeah, he put a shift in for sure.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
was, man. He was amazing, man.
the
Fair
pass
play,
didn't get
fair
enough
play.
praise, did it? On Match of the Day, I
No.
thought they're not going to
No.
praise it. If it was De
No.
Bruyne, if it was Silva, if it was anyone, Fernandes, anyone else, they get all the praise in the world. But the fact it's Johnny Alioski, a left back, I mean, it's got to be one of the assists of the season if there's such a thing. Well, there is now because I've just made it up. But it's got to be, hasn't it, Lucy? Surely. It's outside of the boot. It's like, I've never seen Johnny do something like that on a pitch before.
And you just don't know what he's heard. I mean, surely he's been tagged in enough stuff. And I don't know if he's had a bit of a point to prove maybe in the last couple of games. And obviously off the back of the, win against Germany, I think he's like on a high. I mean, he did give away a pen, but, he'll still be on a high. And yeah, I think he has got a point to prove, whether that's to the fans, whether that's because he wants people to do a bit of window shopping because, is he going to sign something? You just don't know. But whatever it is, we're happy that it helped us massively, didn't it, on Saturday? So
I've not heard anything about this. Has anyone heard about?
Yeah, he's come out in his presser and said something about Leeds spending 100 million and all this tosh, man. I mean, it's just another excuse for why he can't get Burnley up the league. To be honest, mate, he's a bit of a clown. It was only other week on Before the Whistle Blows. I was shouting him out for England, weren't it? So not anymore.
Last week it was, mate. It wasn't the other week. It was last week.
Was it last week?
Not anymore.
You know what I'm like. I get carried away, but yeah, he's come out and said some bits. He's just being an idiot. Anyway, we need Hal on. We'll have to ask Hal about it on Before the Whistle Blows. What's being said, but he's a clown, isn't he? Just on Alioski though, as well. Like, it's funny you say. I don't think we've ever seen him doing the outside of the boot thing, especially for an assist. We normally see him try to half volley it back to his keeper, and that's the. We normally see that going the other way, don't we? Do you know what I mean? But he was great, and I think another thing to remember is when we consider they'd been under the cosh for 93 minutes, and they still had the energy for him to nick that, get that ball off Costa, to play it with the outside of his boot, for Dallas to get past Stones, having been pegged back for so long. That's makes it all the more sweeter. Is that where's this Bielsa burnout that people were talking about? This is what I'm saying, though. It's true, though, isn't it? And I'm so happy to see all these naysayers getting retweeted and that from the tweets they sent in August saying we were going to be burnt out and all this sort of stuff. So it's just sweet to be a Leeds fan right now. It's amazing.
Amazing.
It's brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
My granddad was on the phone to me the other day. My other granddad obviously passed away earlier in the year. He was a City fan, but my other granddad was saying, so how many buses have you parked this week? It rattled him that much. He's not even a City fan, but it rattled him that much, and we got a result at City and that lot. But that's it. It just shows different sides to us, though, doesn't it? The fact that Bielsa made those defensive subs, the fact that Robin Koch came on and sort of played in the back five, and then Calvin was everywhere, and it was just wonderful, but in a different kind of way. If that makes sense. But,
I think, did Bielsa say as well that he didn't want to take the praise? Because I felt like he kind of directed everybody, but it feels like they kind of used their own initiative, really, and went back to that old school ways of parking the bus, and every centre back we've ever bought was on apart from Coops. But
it's
amazing.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Warnock has took praise for the win, by the way. Neil Warnock took all the praise for that. Did anyone else stand out for you guys? Charlie, did anyone else stand out for you in the game in terms of individuals?
Yeah, I thought Costa for me. I feel like I knew with Harrison being out that it was obvious. It's a like for like, isn't it, for Costa to come in. I expected him to play on right. I was quite shocked to see him on the left, but it's probably one of the best games I've seen him play in a long time. A hard game to come in for him, obviously. But I thought his work rate was second to none. He was like helping Alioski out at left back. He was involved in the opening goal. And I think pre-game, I was thinking Harrison definitely comes back against Liverpool, but does Bielsa keep Costa in after that? I mean, we'll soon find out.
I mean, Lucy, would you keep Costa in after a performance like that?
It is a tough one. I mean, I think Costa's best performance was against Liverpool. I don't know if you guys agree. I just remember, I think it suits him, the amount of space that those types of opponents can create. And I think in the Championship, that's where he just didn't shine. And weirdly, Costa excels against the top sides, I think. I think early on in the game, I think it was apparently missed Harrison, but I think down to 10 men, I think I preferred Costa, weirdly. I don't know. It's a good problem to have, though, isn't it? To be fair, definitely. But I think Harrison nicks it still for me, I think. But yeah.
Would you agree, Joe?
Yeah, I think Harrison's hit a rich vein of form, but I do agree. It wouldn't surprise me. You know, I agree with Charlie. It wouldn't surprise me if Bielsa did go with him. But I think, look, Harrison has been in some decent form up until that point, hasn't he? So I've just got all eyes on this Brighton Everton game, because if Brighton win, the European charge is still on for Leeds, you see.
European
so come on, Brighton. No, I was impressed with Costa on the whole. We've seen in previous games where sometimes he would come on, he would make silly challenges, he wouldn't track his man. Whereas we needed everyone to be at the races, and he was that, and he put a real shift in, and it was buzzing to see. I think to a man, we were just exceptional yesterday. Saturday, sorry. I don't know what day it is. Yeah, it does, man. It does. It was one of them. Like, I didn't go to bed till 1 a.m. because I just couldn't put my phone down. Because I'd watch Match of the Day.
It, right? Is that it?
Yeah, no, that's late. That's late.
Charlie, Lucy. I think it's Charlie. I've just tested it.
Is it Charlie?
Yeah, it's Charlie.
Yeah, I've muted Charlie. Charlie, do you want to jump out? And for some reason, it's replaying my. Listen to that. Listen. Well, unmute him for a second. It's just me going. No, that. That was a banger. That is a banger.
Oh my
God!
God!
That's my. No. That was brilliant. Hopefully Charlie will be back with us. I don't know what happened then, guys.
I think he said he got a new webcam or something yesterday, so I don't know if he's having technical
issues.
difficulties.
Wow. No.
That's the new intro, anyway. That's the new intro.
So anyway, I tried to go to bed. I watched Match at Day, and then I just found myself just scrolling on Twitter, and then I would find another thread where someone had been saying, Leeds are rubbish, and so I actually had to come up here and put my phone in this room so that I could go to sleep. So I literally couldn't put it down. So I was like, right, I'm going to go put it in another room so that I just go to sleep. So yeah, it was just one of them, and it was just an amazing day. When you just ring your mates or ring my brothers and all that. Oh wow, did you see? Yeah, it was amazing, weren't it? It was just. It'll go back. Yeah. Charlie, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good. I don't know what happened there, mate.
Yeah, I don't either. Sorry about that.
It's all right, mate. But, it's one of them, innit? Like, it's such a disappointment that we're not in the grounds and stuff. But it is one of them moments, especially, like, say, for Charlie, for example, like, such a young lad, not had the chance to grace the Premier League, etc. before as a Leeds United fan. After Swansea, mate, is this like quite arguably one of your best moments as a Leeds fan?
Yeah, I think the Pablo goal, promotion, and this are like my top three moments.
Yeah,
I slid that hard across the living room floor. I grazed my knee and everything over there.
You got carpet burn, son. You got carpet burn.
Yeah, I was nearly in tears though. Like it's just up there, and I'm just enjoying every minute of it. Brilliant.
Yeah, man. Just think though, next season it'll be happening at Ellen Road, man.
That's it. That's the lockdown, like injury from limbs, isn't it? When, like, when you're scoring that lot, normally it's like you smash into someone or something like that when you're celebrating, but now it's just carpet burns.
That was great moment, really good.
Yeah, because
it was
in the ground. You're talking limbs getting broken and stuff, aren't you? To be fair,
not carpet burns.
Yeah,
No.
insane.
But I mean, the only game I can sort of compare it to, for me, still Bristol Rovers, Swansea are still top. You know, they were the ones that sealed promotion. They still got to be the top for me. But I don't know about you, Lucy, but I think like to January the 3rd, I actually kind of think that might have bettered January the 3rd. The fact that if City do go on to win the quadruple, the fact we've been down to 10 men, the fact it's Pep versus Bielsa. I know, don't get me wrong, January the 3rd will always be the one, but I think in terms of achievement, I don't know, would you agree?
I don't know. I think I've put us on a higher standard than what you're saying because I loved the result, but I would have been interested to see what the game would have resulted in if we'd have obviously kept Cooper on, because I think it was a pretty good game and I think it was pretty end to end. And I'd have loved to have seen like the Bielsa way kind of like prevail in winning. And I just think it was just the most anti-Leeds way of winning. And don't get me wrong, I loved every minute, but I love putting in like an amazing, like beautiful performance and getting a result. But it is up there. I'll let like you all have your moments of knee grazing. I did obviously love it, and yeah, against the opponent. I think for me, I was just a bit good that De Bruyne wasn't on, and like he's just like my ultimate. You know, I'd love to have been there and played against him. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Basically, she just rubbished your claims.
Yeah. Basically, no, it
All
doesn't top January the 1st.
I think
because I was there.
I was talking about this with Lewis actually, and I think the thing with January the 3rd is we were a League One side playing a Premier League side. You know, we were the first team.
An average Premier League side, though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right there because we have. Yeah,
they were average.
Average.
Well,
average
they were.
team.
They didn't put like the best team.
Rooney played.
Well, I know, but
gigs
past his prime.
Oh man,
you've heard it now on all ALTV. Joe Wayburn praising Manchester United is what you're hearing now.
Oh, give over, man. But what I'm saying is that is an achievement for a League One side to be a Premier League side. The thing that makes it all the more sweeter for me as a Leeds United fan is the fact that Alex Ferguson never lost to a lower league opposition in the FA Cup and never got beat in the 3rd round. And we, Leeds United, did that. And that'll sting Alex Ferguson. Because if you remember when we played them in the Carabao Cup a couple of seasons later, the team that he played was so strong. Yeah. So strong, and they absolutely battered us. I think it was about 4, was it?
Yeah. Dreadful.
Something like that. I think he played. He played a strong side in that team anyway at Ellen Road. So you could see it stung because he was like, "This isn't happening to me again." It's the fact that we went there to Old Trafford. It's nowhere near anywhere close, if you ask me. But it was an amazing moment. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, yeah, it's not close with that. Sorry. We're not going to be singing like. Can you imagine? Like what
was
is it?
The date?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not saying like that. I'm just saying.
We went down to 7 men.
But that City team's better than what that team we played on January the 3rd.
Yeah.
That's all I was saying. In terms of achievement, we've actually beaten the best team in Europe, arguably the best team in Europe on Saturday with 10
but
men.
we gave them a game at our place, didn't we? And that's what I mean. I think I'd have just liked to have seen like an even playing field and see what we could have achieved. But maybe it might have been a bit more open. We might have, conceded more probably because we just wouldn't have played like we did, would we? So, yeah.
Yeah, it was 3-0. 3-0. I'm being corrected in the chat. It was 3-0.
Yeah,
but we got battered. Yeah.
Are you finished talking about that Man United team, Joe? Can we move on now? Can we move on?
What was I watching earlier on, actually? Who scored it? It
Oh,
was on
God.
Twitter. Park Ji-sung scored against Chelsea in the Champions League semi and
Are you
in
being
the lead up
serious
to
right now?
This
Are
is
you
why
it was
I
just
can't
on
go to
Twitter.
bed.
No, it was just on
Talking
Twitter
about
though, but this is what I'm saying. It was the same season, and the players that were involved in the move before Park Ji-sung put it in back of the net. I was like, oh, that was a good side, really, when you look back, you know. And obviously we beat that similar sort of generation. I'm just saying that's why it's different. It was you that said this was better than beating Man United, mate, not me.
No. Achievement. I still think it is. I still think we'll look back at that win.
Because we drew with them at our place, it's not.
Why we took 4 points off the best team?
Oh, yeah,
in
that's
Europe?
great. No, that is amazing. I agree with you. I think there's only Man United that have done that, haven't they, this season?
Mate, just stop talking about Man United. Stop praising Man United for a second.
Did you watch him yesterday? Pogba was good, wasn't he?
Oh God.
Dear me. This is like, let's move on quickly. I mean, Liverpool, Lucy, must be a little bit nervous coming to our place. The fact that they've got to win to keep up their push for the top four. Well, we're challenging them now for the top four, aren't we?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. But I mean,
Let's be ambitious.
I don't see why. Honestly, I'm at that stage now in the season where I'm thinking we can actually take on anyone now. There's nothing to fear with anyone anymore.
Well, I know, because we gave them a game, didn't we, on the opening match of the season, and obviously they were in like prime with the champions. Let's crack on, and like they are a bit shaky, aren't they? They are a bit vulnerable to them and their fans. They've massively underachieved, and they've had the major injuries. But yeah, I believe we can give anybody a game. I truly do believe that. So I'm hoping against Liverpool, even against Man United. I know we'll just forget what happened at their place, but that's because they kind of caught us out early on. But I still think, like, even though these are the free hit games that I'm trying to tell myself, but I still think, yeah, we can give them a game, and they will be scared to come because they don't want to play on that crap pitch, will they, either, as well, for a start. So, yeah, we'll see this time next week.
No, exactly. I mean, Charlie, have you got any initial thoughts on that? Obviously, I know it's like it's still a week away, isn't it? But have you got any initial thoughts on that Liverpool game?
Yeah, I mean, I said on the Sheffield United preview, I thought this one was going to be the one that we were more likely to win out of the three. Obviously, since then, we've had that win the other day, but I feel like they're definitely there to be got at, especially at the back. I mean, the defence is shaky. I feel like if Rafinha and Harrison are both on it, I feel like they can cause Trent and Andy Robertson some major problems on the wings. But yeah, like Lucy's just said, I feel like we can give anyone a game in this league, and we've just beaten the best team in Europe. So who says we can't go and beat these two? Let's have them. Can't wait.
Well, City beat Liverpool 4-1 earlier in the season. We've just beaten City 2-1. So, sorry, we've just beaten City 2-1. So there you go. What's the problem? What is the problem, Joe?
What can go wrong?
After City and seeing Liverpool, and I genuinely like the least we can hope for or should be aiming for is a point, which shows how far we've come. I go into that game thinking the least, if we lose, I wouldn't be unhappy. Well, of course I would, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, I think it's gone past maybe a little bit of a free hit now, because Liverpool, I mean, they only just scraped past Villa, Trent Alexander-Arnold with that goal. I think Charlie makes a great point. Trent, we can have joy all day against Trent. Yeah. All day. We already seen in that first game, if you remember at Anfield, where Jack Harrison just put him on toast, man. He didn't know what day it was. So that's another reason why probably Jack comes in as well, because he's got that in his locker. The least we should hope for is a point. And then if we think about them, it's like they haven't been beaten away from home, so it's arguably going to be tougher than it was at their place. Do you know what I mean? So, but look, over these next 3, I said 4 points would be an amazing return. That would have been on paper before City. 4 points from these next 3 would have been an amazing return. I did wonder what he was doing. It was just. I was thinking, oh, he's really listening to me here. I did think 4 points would have been an amazing return. The fact that we've already got 3 in the bank, that's huge. That is absolutely huge. So I'm buzzing. Obviously, on All Leeds TV, we joke. Well, I don't joke. It's got into a bit of seriousness now. I think we can maybe get Europe, right? We've got a lot of the bottom half teams still to play. Brighton, Southampton, West Brom, Burnley. Then we've obviously got Tottenham, we've got Manchester United, and we've got Liverpool. We've only dropped 3 points against bottom 7 teams. We've had 27 out of a possible 30. Mm-hmm. That one being against Brighton, where we were shocking that day, and our pitch was absolutely woeful.
Oh, God.
But, Lucy, are you looking up the table thinking there's a possibility, or do you think I've hit my head or something, you know?
Maybe slightly have a little bit, but that's just that. That's just I've been going for a long time, and lots of pessimistic things tend to happen. But I think for me, what I keep my eye on at the moment is Villa, even though they've got like a couple of games in hand. But because they've lost Grealish, I just think that they're nobody without him. And for me, I'm just settling for I'd like to finish above them if possible at first, and then allow myself to look a little bit further up the table and dare to dream. But obviously, I'd have snapped anyone's hand off just to stay up. So anything else is just a bonus. And I think it's just the foundation to build on for next season, really. Maybe a couple more signings and then get a bit more carried away. I think everybody's saying embrace the European tour.
It's because I hammer it. It's because I hammer it every single stream, you see. I've made them all believers. You see. Dust off your passports. We're going on a European tour.
Get vaccinated. We're off.
Yeah, we're off. Charlie, what about you? Are you not a Debbie Downer like
me?
I feel like it's possible still. I mean, whether it happens or not, I'm not 100% sure. I feel like we'll finish above Aston Villa no matter what. Like Lucy just said, I think without Grealish, they're a different side. They're not as threatening, I don't feel. They just lack that bit of creativity, I think, going forward without Grealish. I mean, it's possible. I mean, it'd be amazing. But like Lucy said as well, I think if we get the right signings in summer, and then, like you say, I think the foundations are there, and then hopefully we can push for Europe next season. But I'll be more than happy with just how this season's going, if I'm honest.
Yeah, same. You're a bit more than happy with the top 4 spot this year, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Right. No, honestly, it's been an amazing season regardless. Yeah. I said for a while, well, to be honest, I said from the start we could get Europe, and people laughed at me, and maybe it might end up being a little bit too far out of our reach, but it's been an amazing season regardless, man. What we've done, I think a lot of us accepted or knew that maybe Bielsa's style was probably more suited to the Premier League, but to think we've attack it the way that we have, and you know, beating City, and now like the way we're talking, look, Liverpool, I think we can get at least the point. You know, it's a real changing of the guard. I mean, we're on the same points as Arsenal. I know Arsenal are woeful, but 3 points behind Everton, who were in 8th. 4 points behind Tottenham, who were in 7th. You know what I mean? It's like we're not that far away, man. By the end of the stream, Lucy will be getting a passport updated to go on.
I am dusting it off. Because I was thinking if we'd have beaten Spurs, that would have changed the table around massively, you know, with their poor form. And then we really would have been in contention for Europe.
How did we not beat Arsenal in that 0-0 game?
They're the one both of them games.
Wolves when they beat us 1-0
Wolves.
on Lord.
How
They
they
didn't
didn't
deserve
double
to.
over us, I do not
And
know.
we
That's what
scored
I'm
both.
saying. It's these fine margins where you think, oh, if we'd have, especially that 0-0 at home against Arsenal, we battered them.
God.
Yeah.
Battered them. How we didn't score is crazy. You win that, we're then, a point behind Tottenham. It's mad. It's all fine margins, though, isn't it? It's all if buts and maybes. But yeah, what wasn't an if but or maybe was Saturday in the performance of Stuart Dallas.
Oh yeah.
What a human, Lucy. Just talk to me. Build the statue I was saying, he's that good. He's amazing, right?
He is. I mean, if anybody that sits round where I sit, seasons that have gone by, he was my most hated player. I was one of those annoying people that just used to scream what the are you bringing him on for? What is he going to offer? I just absolutely couldn't stand him. I just thought, what are we doing, persisting with him season after season? And Bielsa just come along, and I have no idea what he's done to obviously enhance. He's just the complete player, isn't he? There's just nothing that he cannot do now. I was listening to him on the radio this morning actually, and he's quite modest. He said that his finish was a bit hit and hope with that final goal on Saturday. He said he was being closed down, and he megged the keeper as well, didn't he? As well, and obviously the space that he found for the first goal. Because I think that's how we found their weakness. Their weakness is that they don't like to be on the back foot, facing goal. John Stones, he's just pants facing goal, in my opinion. And obviously Cooper flung that ball in. Who was it who was tracking Dallas? I can't remember who it was. But then, that was it. But he was because he was tracking him, but then obviously Bamford had the ball briefly, and then it allowed Dallas to have that space and obviously have that shot. And he's just a wonderful, wonderful man. And if he'd have said that to me 5 years ago, I just wouldn't have thought I'd be sat here singing his praises right now.
I agree with you, mate. I remember when we brought him in, I think it was Uwe Rosler. We brought him in as a winger. He couldn't do anything as a winger. When you see a winger, my wingers, the way I think about wingers is Rafinha. That's a winger.
Yeah, that's a winger.
Stuart Dallas used to come on and just not. He couldn't take a man on. He couldn't dribble with the ball. So as a winger, he was limited. But what Bielsa's done, and it was one of them oh my God, what does he do? And at that time, we went through a stage as well where we did not have any wingers. They were, I think, the last good winger prior to that was Max Gradel, and we just never got any after that,
No.
We tried Kebe, didn't we? We tried all sorts, and none of them worked. So Dallas came in, and then, he was just not a winger. He's just not a winger, is he? But that's when as we bought him. But obviously, Bielsa's turned him into a fullback. We can play at right back. He can play at left back, and now he's playing in midfield, and he's there's nothing he can do. There's nothing he can't do. Do you know what I mean? It's insane. Charlie, just how impressed were you with his performance on the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I think you've pretty much covered everything that I'd say. I think I just love how versatile he is. I think I'd fancy him in net if Melier is injured.
Rather than Kiko.
Anything's better than Kiko. But yeah, I just love the bloke. I mean, just his work rate's just unreal. I feel like he just couldn't stop running. How he's not. He must have been knackered after that game the other day. All of them will have been, but he just runs and runs and runs. I think his first one's a really good finish. I think Edison thinks it's going to just hit the post. He kind of puts the trust in the post, and it don't work out for him. But yeah, I feel like his link-up play, his tracking, his man marking, everything he does is just amazing. And I know I were joking there about him playing in net, but he can play anywhere. I trust him up front if Paddy's injured as well. But amazing. And I think you've said over the weekend as well, I think he's definitely our player of the season, no doubt.
Yeah.
Would you obviously it'd be the first time in 3 seasons, Lucy, that anyone outside of Pablo Hernandez has won the Player of the Year. So would you agree with Charlie? I know I think for me it is now. You could have argued at the start of the season, Bill Ayling. You could have said for a period, Patrick Bamford. But I just think now, especially after them 2 goals against City, for me, Stuart Dallas signed, sealed, delivered player of the season. I think it'll be a landslide as well.
Oh, 1,000,000%. And even like his goals tally, I think at the start of the season. But I mean, Bamford would have been happy with that, wouldn't he?
Season,
do you know what I mean?
Leeds fans would have been happy with that as well.
I would have been. And I think, I would say he's been kind of like runner-up to Pablo probably last season. And I think he's definitely the right thing to award him that. He's just been sensational. And I think a lot of people said that did they bench him in the fantasy teams and stuff and regretting it big time now.
Exceptional. We've had a comment coming from Robert Swift. Thank you for the super chat, mate. He says he's run out of words to describe Dallas. Simply the most improved player. He's found his place with Bielsa. Yeah, so true. Because I always think to myself, like, I don't think Dallas does what he's doing for Leeds at another Premier League club.
No.
It just won't work. They'd probably think, and I mean this with the best respect to him, but let's say he moved to a Newcastle or something, they won't get the Dallas that we've got. They get the Dallas that we got under Uwe Rosler. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know it's just, I think Bielsa just takes these players to whole new dimensions, man, to whole new ceilings that they never. These lads must be pinching themselves, man. These lads must be pinching themselves. I know I am as a fan anyway. And long may it continue. I mean, there's noise coming out that he might have signed a 2-year deal, Bielsa, which would be it'd be amazing, wouldn't it? How would that feel loose?
Oh God, because I just can't believe there is going to be a day when he won't be here, and I just think I would have to have some kind of like funeral for him or something, because I just can't imagine life without him.
Ellen Road with candles and that.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I think everything would go downhill. I think we just can't be without him. I just don't know how he could ever be replaced, and he's just improved everyone as a whole. And like you said, if somebody moved elsewhere, they wouldn't get that version. It's the team that works. Like, I think we've seen it with Ben White. Obviously, Ben White is still an incredible player, but he gets played out of position quite a lot there, and I don't think he is the Ben White that we had. And it's just the Bielsa magic. So I just think, let him sign till the day that he can't like walk or anything like that. Let him stay forever.
Just wheel him out with Zimmer.
Wheel him out,
Brilliant.
We need him to be like Charlie, a Warnock. Forever.
Would you go as far to agree with Chris here? Because I would.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Yeah. I mean, in my time of supporting Leeds, I've never seen this brand of football being played. I feel like Lucy just said, I think when Bielsa goes, I mean, who comes in? I mean, I know you've said like Gerrard at the beginning and people like that, but I just can't imagine a Leeds side not managed by Bielsa. I just can't imagine how it would happen, how it would work. Like, what style of football is it going to be? Is it going to be back to Neil Warnock, just kicking ball upfield and hoping for the best? But yeah, I think he, hands down, definitely, he needs to be up outside Ellen Road next to Bremner, 100%.
Yeah. It's not even just like your generation, mate. I think
anyone,
it's amazing. It's unrivaled, this football. I know people in the 70s might disagree. The Rev era, I get that, but I think it surpasses like even the Champions League era for the type of football that we play.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing. I'll never forget that first game against Stoke.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's etched in there, man. I remember that squeeze.
What's happening?
What's going on?
I was frightened of Stoke that day.
I was
scared of Stoke that day. It was unbelievable, and then
because I can remember the lineup coming out, and there was only Barry Douglas, and we were like, "There's the new players," and then we came out and just went pop, 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 pop. I was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
I know.
And we've just been used to it ever since, and we've been spoiled, and that's why I just don't think I can ever go back to you were saying that hit and hope with Warnock and
Can't imagine it.
Monk, and oh God, I just don't ever want to go back. And that's why I like with the City game, you know, I don't want to play like that all the time. You know, I want to see Bielsa ball and on the counter, and because
Had
it's
to
just
be done of it,
beautiful.
I guess. Had to be done.
It is the
Yeah.
best thing. It is the best thing, honestly. Let's talk about something maybe a little bit negative, but Cooper's red card. I still believe it was a red card. I know not a lot of people disagree. Maybe they've had time to look a bit. Maybe they've had time to have a think about it. Some you guys might disagree. I'd love to know your opinions on it. The fact for me is that we live in a world where the replays get slowed down, and if it gets slowed down, ultimately Cooper's boot connected with Jesus's knee. That's not okay. And people say, oh, well, Jesus's leg, and how can he? Yeah, but that means it comes under being reckless because Cooper isn't controlling his leg. Do you know what I mean? But I also get the inconsistency bit where, was it Tarkowski's boots, you know, almost touching Longstaff's head against Newcastle, you know, and nothing's given. Yeah, you know, so I understand it. But for me, it was a red card. What are your initial thoughts? I'll come to you first, Charlie.
I don't agree with it personally.
That's fine.
I thought it was harsh.
Tell me why.
I thought it was harsh. I think, like you say, I think if the referees were more consistent this season, I could maybe be more at peace with it and just be like, yeah, it was reckless. But like you say, I mean, there was obviously Cooper's, and there was the Burnley one, and then I know it's a bit different, but that Spurs one yesterday when Son goes down, I think that's ridiculous. Like, I hate Man United, obviously, but that should have been a goal. And for me, he wins the ball. Yeah, he leaves a bit on him afterwards, but I think Chris said on the stream over the weekend, I think if he leaves Jesus and he skips past him, then Leeds fans are on at him saying, "Oh, you need to be getting him." And blah, blah,
no
blah.
one's disputing he shouldn't have made the challenge.
Yeah, but yeah,
you can see why it's been given. I think
I can see it, but I still think it's harsh at the same time. But
yeah. What about you, Luce?
Well, obviously, in heat of the moment, you're like, "Oh, it's not a red," and you're kicking off and all of this. But obviously, like the law is, you know, if you lunge an opponent from the front back side and it's deemed as excessive or dangerous, that's the law. But it's what the interpretation of the law is and the enforcement of the law, and like you said, the inconsistencies that we're seeing in the league at the moment. But then are we going to see this breed of player dying out? Because I just think these types of Liam Coopers coming through, they're not going to be able to come through like that anymore. Because like you said, how do you make the challenge? How do you make it safely? And we use that phrase, the game's gone. Like, will it continue to get like that? My initial reaction was he's got the ball. If it was the other way around, would I have been thinking that? Probably not, because I'm biased. But I am a football fan and I'm fair. And yeah, I thought no, but in hindsight and looking at it slowed down and repeated, I'm thinking that it was probably the correct decision.
If Jesus's legs planted firmly, and I know this might sound, he could have snapped it.
Yeah.
These are the facts. Like, people won't want to listen to it, but if his legs planted, he could have snapped it. It could have buckled, right? He could have done some injury. And that's why it's deemed to be red and reckless and dangerous. That's what I understand. And like you, please, Leeds fans, I know you don't have to disagree and everyone's entitled to their opinion, but say, like Lucy says, she's biased. Imagine it's the other way and Stones makes that challenge on Bamford. Come on, we're all going, it's a red, get him off. Or
but like I say, it's the consistency.
It was poor challenge.
But they've got to do it for everything, and obviously there's like
agreed.
the Sterling thing. It's like it's just somebody's interpretation and opinion, and you're saying that he inadvertently didn't stamp on his hand. And I just thought Mariner had a mare. I think he's been quite. I think, did he do the Southampton game? I was trying to think what game he did where I thought he was quite decent, but then I find that if he's on VAR, he's quite poor. And then when I found that he was reffing on Saturday, I thought, oh, it's going to be a good game, but I thought he was just horrendous. Just got everything wrong. I mean, it got to the point where I were ironically cheering at home in my living room when we got a decision, as opposed to like being in the ground. So yeah.
No, he did. This is what I'm saying. Even though he had a stinker, they had a stinker. The inconsistency stinks. Like the Baldock one, I genuinely believe in that Baldock one for Sheffield United. If we don't get a shooting action at the end of it, he pulls it back. He gets far to look at it, and he gets sent off. But because Harrison had a shot that was saved, the ref's just gone, they've had a shot. It's all right. Let's just play on. And this is what do you see what I'm saying? It's mental. I don't think VAR's the problem. It's the numpties that are controlling the VAR.
Oh, it's because it's their opinion, isn't it? At the end of the day.
So
it's not necessarily the technology.
You're removing human error and replacing it by someone controlling a computer that can have human error. It makes no sense. Like it's crazy. But Cooper's out then. He's out. We've had a chat about that. He's out for 3 games now. Lucy, who comes in for you? Do you want to see Koch and Llorente, or do you want to see Pascal and Llorente?
I mean, I love Strauch. I don't know if Koch is fully fit, really, is he? I know Bielsa likes them to get like 1 million games under the belt, doesn't he, before they come back into the starting lineup. But I think Strauch's really strong there. Llorente is just fantastic. He's the key person for me. You can put anyone alongside him, but maybe Pascal just gets the nod for me for Liverpool.
Yeah. What about you, Charlie?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I would partly like to see Koch come back in as well. I feel like he played, was it about 15 minutes he played against City? Something like that.
It could have been longer, possibly.
Yeah, it might have been. But I just want to see how that works, that partnership, because we've not really seen it yet properly. But in terms of the next game, I think Strike does come in. But like next season, I would like to see it consistently being Koch and Llorente, because we paid those fees for them, and I feel that warrants the place in the team. I think it's a good headache to have because Pascal's been unreal as well. But yeah, I think, like I said, the next game it'll be Strike, but I'm thinking more long term. I would like to see it being Koch and Llorente at the back.
I think maybe that's what we'll see next season, possibly. I mean, I love Pascal, and I think the fact that he went to Pascal first when the red card happened, as opposed to Koch, tells us all we need to know. I know Koch came on a little bit later on, but he chose to go with Pascal first as opposed to Koch. And do you know what? This is the thing. Like someone's just made it in the comments about us having. Let me see if I can find it. Sorry, there's so many comments coming in, but basically the point was made, is it how is it that now Leeds have 4 decent centre-backs? You know, we're not actually concerned anymore, are we, like Luce? You know, we're not concerned about our centre-backs at all, you know?
No, and it was such a massive problem, wasn't it, for ages, that we were just so worried. And, you know, I love Liam Cooper. Again, he was somebody that I used to loathe once upon a time.
Yeah.
Arguably, I think he had one of his best games on Saturday, obviously, before the sending off. I think, obviously, the ball forward behind their fullbacks was fab. The blocks he made. I think we handled set pieces really well with him, with Llorente. I think that's the difference, them two together. But I think when he was... Because why was he out? Did they say what was wrong with him? Didn't they say he was ill or something? I don't know whether he had COVID or something. Yeah. No, when Cooper was out recently, and then he kind of came back in.
Oh yeah, they did the same with. Was it no? It wasn't.
He definitely had the C word, didn't he?
Yeah, Meslier was ill as well. Meslier was ill for.
And I think that gave us, because you don't want to like kick out your captain, but I think it gave us scope to see what life would be like without him, and you know, we did a lot better. And like you were saying, it's thinking about the future, what kind of pair we want to see, and just the likes of Liam and, you know, like Click and people like this, are these the ones that are going to be like left behind, sadly, going forward. Yeah,
possibly that could be the case. I mean, let's say hypothetically that does happen. I always ask people this question, but Lucy, who would you have as your captain if that happened? Cooper went.
That's a tough one, isn't it? Because you want somebody at the back, don't you, who's vocal, that's going to be chatting to everybody. But then you think Calvin, perhaps, is he like a captain type figure? I'm not sure. They obviously respect him a lot, don't they? The way that they interact with him, talk to him online. So he obviously has that. Maybe Ailing, potentially. Yeah, maybe.
I think with him being vice captain, that might be the case. What about you, Charlie?
Personally, I'd like to see Calvin get it. Yeah. I think just because he's a Leeds lad, he gets the club. Probably up there with Dallas, maybe as one of the most improved players under Bielsa. And I think against City as well, he showed a lot of leadership. People might not have noticed, but I just felt he controlled it at the back. He controlled it in midfield. And like you've just said there, I think the squad definitely respects him. No, definitely not.
Simon Roberts, the captain. You can't even go to bed on time, can you?
I'd like to see Phillips get it 100%. I think the season he's had, England call up, all that added on. 100%.
Yeah, I think for me it'd probably go to Luke Ayling, just because we have a vice captain. We have a vice captain for a reason, and then maybe Stuart Dallas after that point. I think it was quite poignant that whenever anything happens at the club, it's always Cooper, Dallas, and Ayling that get sent out. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like when we seen with Kevin, Chris, and they were laying the reef, it was them three that went out.
Yeah, true.
I just want to pick up on Cooper as well. Just my good friend Mega King Richard, who likes to comment about Cooper on the stream. He might be here. He always gives him stick. Dallas did an interview as well, and one of the things that he said during the interview was like, we didn't lose just any player. He said, we lost our captain, our leader, our voice at the back. And that's what Liam Cooper gives us, right? He's our captain, he's our leader, and he's our voice at the back. And that's Dallas saying that. So I just want some respect to be put on Cooper's name because he gets far too much stick. Yeah. And he always has to back him. But I do agree with what you said, Lucy. There was a period of time where I was like, listen, there's even a video out there where someone asked me a question and I say, is Liam Cooper really going to lead us to the Prem? I don't think so.
No, because he's League One Liam to me back then.
And he's here. Do you know what I mean? And we're there. So it is what it is. But I don't know what's happened to Oscar, guys.
No.
It's been a better show anyway. He's probably playing golf with his dad in front room or something. Right, what we're going to do now, guys, it's that time of the show. Let me, just before we do, actually, let me get your score predictions for Liverpool. Charlie, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm quite confident with this one. I think we'll do it 2-1, I'm going to say. Same scoreline as the last few games. I feel like they'll score at some point because they have got quality up front. But like I said earlier, I think their defence is definitely there to be got at. And I think we can pull it off again. Obviously, the scum game's a bit harder for me to call, but I think this one, we could easily win it, yeah. I'll go for 2-1.
Who's scoring?
I think Bamford again, because he hasn't scored for a few games. Get him back on score sheet. And Dallas again, why not? Get him on score sheet again.
Yeah. Better than Gundogan and KDB.
All right.
Dude, you mentioned that form, though. We are in some fantastic form. Drew with Chelsea.
Yeah.
3 wins after that. So undefeated in 4. Undefeated in 4. Crazy. Can we continue with that, Lucy? What's your score prediction?
I'm going to go 2-2. Which is a bit of a weird one, isn't it? But yeah, 2-2. I'm thinking Raf's going to get one, probably because they fancy him, don't they? So he'll score and they'll want to sign him again. And like you said, Bamford's due, and I think obviously he'll have been a bit gutted to have been the person to take one for the team and get subbed on Saturday. But yeah, I think with all the England talk, I think he's still on a bit of a mission to prove himself, so I hope he gets one as well.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I was saying on the other channel earlier on, just sure that 2-2 does, but I'll always back Leeds for a win. But there is something in there about this 2-2, to be honest. Would I take a point? I feel bad. This is what I mean. This is the mentality now. It's like, I don't really want a point. I want all three. But I just think if you give me 4 points over these next three, I'll snap your hands off. So the least we can expect is a point. But yeah, great to see the positivity. A win and a draw. That'll do us. Right, let's do your 1 to 5. This is the part of the show where you pick your Leeds ultimate five-a-side team. 1 goalkeeper, 2 defenders. No, 1 goalkeeper, 1 defenders, 2 midfielders, and an attacker. I was going to do a 6-a-side team then, to be fair. Again, there's no rules around this. You can just do what you want. Talk us through it. We'll see who's first up. It is... They're not there last week's. Where's he put them? Where is he put them, Oscar? 2 jobs he's had and he's messed them all up. Bear me 1 sec. No, that's the wrong one.
We've gone all defeated.
I'm having a nightmare. See, I don't normally do this. Sorry, I think we've got them here. Whose is this? Lucy.
That's
right,
me.
talk us through it, Luce.
So obviously we've got the GOAT of all goalkeepers, good old Nigel Martin. For me, just the most consistent keeper that we've ever had. One of my favourite ever performances from him was against Roma over at their place. It was 0-0, and I think he won like sort of performance of the season for that game. And yeah, just strong, consistent. I don't think he's ever been replaced personally. I just think, his understudy Robinson kind of took over, and yeah, I was a fan of his, but not to the level of Nigel, and been a fan of like Rob Green, but that was like in the Championship. So for me, there's only one option, and that's to stick him between the sticks for me.
Could Melier possibly in a couple of
Well,
seasons?
yeah, that's the thing. He's a baby, isn't he? So yeah, again, it's there for the taking. It's that consistency. I mean, Nigel's there for a good 6 or 7 seasons, being top dog. So yeah, definitely there to be stolen for sure. Yeah. Am I moving on?
You are, move on, yeah. Sure, team. Unless you just want to leave it at Nigel Martin.
Yeah, a team full of Nigel Martin.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got the Chief. Happy birthday to Lucas for today as well. Just purely for the fact that, those diving headers, the man-to-man marking that he could do on any given centre forward. Again, we've seen him in net occasionally. Just somebody who, despite not being from Leeds, is still very much Leeds through and through. I remember going to his testimonial game as well, and you don't get that very often. I think for me it was going to be between him and Gary Kelly. They were both like 2 of my favourite defenders back in the day. But yeah, I don't think you're getting through Lucas and Nigel so far in my team. And then we'll move on to another defensive person in the form of good old David Batty. I think Batty for me is what Calvin will be for a lot of the younger generation at the moment. Sort of like the king of that sideways pass. Could stop any kind of opposition attack. His distribution was fantastic. He'd be used as a springboard, definitely for the counter attacker. Just loved David Batty. Don't think he'd get away with some of the challenges. I think VAR would pull him up quite a lot these days, perhaps. Yeah. But again, somebody who's Leeds through and through. I mean, I know he's not a huge football fan, is he, actually? And he kind of stays away. Yeah, he stays away from it. But yeah, he's definitely a hero of mine. And then moving across to Pabs, again, happy birthday yesterday. I think he was 36, which saddens me greatly because it means he's just getting older and older. But yeah, we've got a bit of creative flair. For me, he can just pick out the most dangerous pass from open play. I just love everything about Pablo. Probably one of the most complete players, as you said earlier. He's been like player of the season consecutively. Goes down in history obviously with the Swansea goal, and I think he's going to be one of our like modern day living legends, and I just want chance to be able to say goodbye to him as well. I think it's important to be back in the ground. So yeah, those 2 there in the middle, you're not getting past Batty, and Hernandez is pinging a ball out for Big Vid at the front there. Again, one of my favourite all-time centre forwards, Viduka. I just remember coming to Leeds in his first season, and was it like 22 goals, I think, did he score in his first season? And he had that presence, you know, he's a big bloke, a physical guy, but his feet were just so dainty. Again, clinical finishing with either foot as well. And yet it's just so sad that obviously that era of player, everybody got sold off. I think his final game was the game that we got relegated at Bolton. I think he got sent off as well. And I could have put like Beckford or Becchio or someone like that. But yeah, I think that's a pretty decent five-a-side team, I'd say. Yeah.
Very good. And that's quite possibly the most... what's the word, like poetically taken through the five-a-side team that we've ever had, to be fair. We were all like that, just drawn in, thinking, buying into it. Quite the team, though, quite the team. To be honest, all these players get picked quite regularly, as you can imagine, from certain generations. So yeah. But no, that's a fantastic team. You'll have some way to go for beating that, Charlie. But you can only put what you've seen, can't you? But like I say, we do run a poll for this on Twitter and for the members as well. So guys, let us know after the show which team you like. But Charlie, take us through yours, mate.
Yeah, so obviously I think with Melier in goal, my generation, I mean, I've been used to seeing League One, Championship and everything. So for me, he's been the best keeper that I've seen in a Leeds shirt. I think the potential that this guy's got is unbelievable. Like you always say, is France #1 in the making. So yeah, I just love him. The Chief at the back, I mean, a bit before my time, I think, but like you've said, I mean, I just love how Leeds he is. Like you see his Instagram and his Twitter, he's always involved. I've seen old clips from those good old days of the...
It's mad hearing you talking about him like the good old days.
Oh my God, I just want to go and hang myself.
I've seen clips on VHS.
No, but I mean, like I was thinking about it, like I knew that I had to do this, and I asked my dad as well. I said, like, how good was Radebe? And he couldn't speak highly enough about him. And like I've already said, the fact that he's just Leeds through and through, having not been from Leeds, just makes me like him even more. Moving on to midfield, KP is my favourite Leeds player at the moment. So that's why I put him in there. He can help Lucas out at the back. With the defending, and he can ping out the balls up the field as well. But yeah, again, I mean, might have been just as I were getting into Leeds or a bit before. But yeah, I mean, box to box midfielder, I've seen like a lot of the goals that he's scored were unbelievable. I think there was one moment that always sticks out for me where I think he scored in Champions League once at Ellen Road, and he celebrated in front of like this little lad in a wheelchair, and like the lad was just going mental, and he went up to him and he celebrated with him, and I just love that. I thought that's always a clip that's stuck with me, so that's why I've got him in there as well. And Beckford, as I say, when I first got into Leeds, we were in League One, and Beckford was the talisman. It was unbelievable. And again, you see him on the Leeds United podcast, you see him on Twitter, he's quite vocal about Leeds, which I love to see. And yeah, I mean, January the 3rd speaks for itself, doesn't it? So yeah, that's why he's in there.
Great, man. Two fantastic teams. It's nice to see you speak like you've gone to it with your dad and that. And that's what this is all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know? Being fans of football clubs, and it gets passed down. You know, just hearing you speak, like, I can't wait for them moments with my boy. I cannot wait for them moments with my boy. He's only 2, and I'm like, can you hurry up, be 5 so we can start going to the games together or what? You know what I mean? It's like, Amy, you look after him till he's 5, and then I'll take him from there. But no, that's awesome, Amy, when you do that, Charlie, you know, and that's what it's all about, man. It's about the next generation. All that. I love that, man. I love that stuff. 2 fantastic teams, as I say, we'll get them shared. Chris Kelly says, give it a break, Charlie. You're making me feel ancient.
I know.
I was feeling it too as well.
When he said I had to ask my dad about Radaby, and I was like, oh my God, I can see the wrinkles on my forehead.
I was actually sat on YouTube last night, like just watching clips of Radaby and Boya.
I find it so mad because, like, in my head, I'm still like 18, but like I'm 33.
Like, I'm envious. I'm envious of you lot, though. Like for. Like,
I know,
me,
I do
Leeds
feel very sorry for you.
Like, Leeds playing in Champions League is just like...
We'll be back there, though, bro. We'll be back there.
We'll be back there. When you hear that Champions League theme,
that's what I mean. Like,
I just used to stand there with goosebumps. I just used to be so proud.
I had a guy on one of the videos earlier, Man City fan, and he was like, "Oh, you've won your FA Cup final against Man City," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then he went, "You know, we're playing in Champions League. Have you ever played it?" I went, "Do your research, mate, will you? Go away."
Because he's never been to Main Road, has he? That's why he doesn't know what the old days were like for them lot.
We've got Tash in the comments saying you can take your kids younger than that.
Oh my God, you can. If you know, you definitely
can. Tash went from the maternity ward straight into Ellen Road, basically. She still had her gown on. But yeah, you can take them younger, although, yeah, it's, I don't know.
My first game, I was 5, and it was Man U was my first game.
How old were you?
Imagine 5. Wow. It was a thrilling 0-0 performance. But yeah, can you imagine the atmosphere for a 5-year-old?
And then my first game was Scunthorpe at home in League One. So,
Tash with she was still tied by the umbilical cord, as Charlotte was like. That's why she went in the air, you see, because they knew she was attached. So it was all right. It was like she was on a bungee cord. So that's all right. No, but honestly, fantastic guests tonight. We had some great numbers as well, over 300 people tuning in, which is absolutely perfect. Great to see you back on All Leeds TV as well, Lucy. Enjoyed having you. So yeah, hopefully we'll see you again soon. If you would be up for that. And Charlie, talk to us just briefly, because Lucy doesn't have her own little channel like you, mate. Talk to us about Chatting Footy Show, mate.
Yeah, so I said it last time. I started the channel a few weeks back. I mean, it's something I've always wanted to try. I love talking football. I feel like it's going to be mainly Leeds content with the odd bit of Premier League, Champions League, and when the Euros is on, it'll be that as well. Like you guys, I just want to try and grow a good community over there. So if you like listening to me talking about football, then hit that subscribe button and join me for the ride.
Yeah, see, man, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. That's it, Charlie. We'll get together, mate, and I'll give you some tags and that. I'll give you some.
Yeah.
Now, on a level though, we're all Leeds fans. You all watch YouTube. It's you regulars that always come and watch this channel. Same people all the time. Show some love. Get over and help Charlie out as well, man.
As soon as possible, so I can start doing watch-alongs and stuff. That's my goal at the minute. 100 subs. That's what I want to
get. Good, man. Good. Right, guys. There's 277 people watching this. Yeah. If you go on to Chatting Footy Show right now, then he gets his 100 subs.
There you know what I mean? There you go.
So help a brother out, man. Leeds United all the way. Yeah, I'm saying that, right? They'll all go subscribe. They'll do watch-alongs and they'll be nicking our viewers. So don't all go. I'm only joking.
I might have to join you. I have to join you for one instead.
Yeah. Just give us a sec. I'll tell you what I'll do, because someone's just said, let's bear with us one sec. We'll just put it in here. Chatting Footy channel. Let's have a look.
There
we go, right. One sec. We'll put that. I'm going to put that link in the. I'm put it there in the chat now, guys. So if you click that link there, we've had a load of people just subscribe for your brother. So hopefully we'll get.
Thanks very much. Cheers. Thanks, guys.
We'll get that, and don't forget as well. Otherwise, Tash will smack my hand. We've got the Leeds United Lashes show tomorrow as well, Tuesday night at 8:00. They'll be looking at the City game, giving us more thoughts, and then looking ahead to Liverpool. We don't play till Monday night, do we? We don't play Monday night to Liverpool, so the content will be like a day later than it normally is, guys. So your big match preview will be Sunday, your opposition will be Saturday. So we'll find something to fill up them gaps in the meantime. Lucy, Charlie, thanks again, absolute legends for coming on.
Thanks for having me on again. Thank you.
We will have you back, and yeah, I think that's it. Is anything else you want to add before we go?
No, man, I'm good.
No, I just need some anti-aging cream now because of Charlie. So
I'm sorry.
God, I know. Not good, eh? Not good. But it is what it is. We're getting old, Lucy. We have to accept this fact, mate.
I know.
You know what I mean? Look at that. I look about 40, mate. It is what it is. Someone said to me the other day, "You look knackered, Joe." I went, "What?" And he went, "Yeah, I've got 10 years on you." And he went, "You look same age as me." And I was like, "No, leave me alone."
Making everybody feel old.
Hey?
Making everybody feel old.
I know.
I know, yeah. From now on, Monday Night Football will have no one under the age of 30, all right?
Where they can't say. I asked my dad what Lucas Radaby was like.
No.
They've got loads for off the pitch as well over on the Leeds United Lasses, which is always a good laugh, all right? So we'll check that out. But yeah, already up to 78 subs, Charlie, now by the looks of it, mate. So
Nice one, thank you.
people and there we go. So
Keep it coming.
good stuff. Buzzing for you. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm just going to play that intro now. Have a nice Monday. Keep it locked to All Leeds TV as per. And yeah, hopefully Everton get beat by Brighton and we're on that European tour, man. Next time you see us, we'll be in Luxembourg or something like that. I've always wanted to go. Yeah. Peace out, people.